But women's volleyball, hype. Women's tennis, hype. Golf, maybe it could be, but I feel like it's not as promoted. It's kind of weird. I feel like golf, it should be, right? But it isn't, in a weird way. Golf is never hype. That is definitely not true.
I need more time.
That is definitely not true. I just think, like, golf probably is, it's hard to hype up, man. No, bro, you're crazy. You're crazy. Golf has like, inherent stories. Are you serious? Golf is like...
I need more time.
Nah, you're batshit crazy. You're batshit crazy. First of all, yeah, like, they have some of the best... It's, like, some of the best TV, first of all. For a game that boring, somehow watching it, especially if it's Sunday, if it's the last day of a tournament, where, like, for all the marbles, and you got the personalities in the run, that shit is... No, they do a great job of making this shit exciting. You're crazy. But I'm thinking even when Tiger wasn't a factor, man, sometimes that shit would be really exciting to watch. Like, it was cool in, like, Tiger Prime era because, I mean, he was just doing the most insane shit, you know? Just, and you felt like... you know what was fun? So you guys remember the World Cup this year? Messi versus, like, the way that game ended was fucking, like, the last, like, 30 minutes of that game, I felt like I was watching history, you know? Golf felt that way on so many Sundays throughout the 2000s and, like, 2010s. It, like, where I would sit down, I would watch the conclusion of a tournament or something like that, and I would, like... I would feel like I was watching something that was, like, historic or something, you know? Like, I remember when I was young, my mom, she had a book about Arthur Ashe that she made me read, and, like, I didn't really get it at the time, but, like, now I get it, you know? But, like, even then, I was like, damn, this is, like... The dubs he got were, like, historic. They meant something, you know, they meant something, like, bigger than himself, that kind of thing. Or, like, it transcends the sport kind of stuff, you know, that kind of thing. It felt... Oh, Valkyrie. It felt that way several... Like, I could just think about it. Like the first Masters he wins, like, that shit's, like, legit hype. You know what's another way I think about it is, think about comic books, right? How many of you guys know about Franklin Richards? Does that name, like, mean anything to you guys? The son of Reed Richards. Okay. So Franklin Richards is one of the most overpowered and stupid characters in comic book history. If you type in Franklin Richards in Google and, like, just try to get a grasp on what his powers are, okay? It becomes very obvious, like, he's broken. It's like he was a dumb idea. Conceptually, like, someone should have just been like, no, this is bad. You know? In a way, and it plays out in a way to where, like, he's so dumb that he's not interesting. Okay? How many of you guys know who Jonathan Hickman is? So something about, like, writing, for example, for a comic book, is when you can take something that I inherently think is whack or lame, but if you can write it or sell it to me in a way to where I'm invested and I'm about it. So the reason why Hickman's run on Fantastic Four is, like, it's got to be, like, as good as comics get in the past 15 years, right? One reason why that has to be, like, mentioned is because he does that in a way, and it's not even just this instance, but it's like he consistently does this. He made me a fan of Franklin Richards.
I need more time.
He finds a way to do it, just with the writing, the story that it's made, the fact that it's like the kind of framework that it's put under, all that shit. Franklin is OP. Yeah, like, he shouldn't exist, right? Like, he's a mistake. But don't spoil yourselves. You gotta read Hickman Fantastic Four. That shit's godlike. Especially because of, like, don't spoil yourselves. I'm telling you, don't spoil it. It's something like you read and you be like, all right, this character's whack as fuck, but this shit is godlike. This shit, you know, is like that kind of thing. I feel like on some level, the reason why I said all that was because, like, when you watch broadcasts of sports, that's something to also consider, right? The X factor with the comic there is this guy with the vision of how to make this character work in something like that, how to sell it, how to make a story that will make the reader feel something, in spite of how whack this character actually fucking is. How to make this whack character actually say or do or both, whatever, something that is going to make the reader think about whatever the topic, whatever shit, right? Sports broadcast is the same kind of thing. You got to think about that. It is very hard to make curling hype. Despite how active it is and how, like, the memes about it and shit like that. But it's probably hard to do, just because it's also one of those Olympic sports where everybody just pretends to give a fuck about it, like, every 4 years, right? But you got to think about, like, when you say golf, you're like, damn, boring as fuck, worst, sleep. You got to look at the sports broadcast through that lens, And it's like, they're so good at framing a narrative, at focusing on the player experience and, like, bringing out their personality within the frame of the tournament, of the event, what that event means to them personally, all that shit. Like, they usually are very, very, like, on point with all that shit. But you see where I'm coming from with it, is like, so you say golf is boring. Yeah, sure. It's definitely something it's definitely on surface level way more fun to play than it is to watch. But the golf broadcasts are so good that it actually becomes, if you're willing to go, like, sit down with an open mind, it's very easy to, like, to get into, actually. Especially if you're talking, like, on Sunday, if it's the last day, it's if you give it a chance, you can be sold.